Let's talk about the reflection frame. This is an e-ink display that will allow you to change all the photos you want without further battery consumption. Let me tell you about it. I've been looking for an e-ink display for a very long time to, show my art and to just print photos on a temporary basis, and I can just change them whenever I want. But all this came from the Amazon Kindle. That was the first time I saw this technology, and I was fascinated by the fact that it is just printed like, and it stays there without any further battery usage. This is why I was really curious, and I've been talking about this technology for years now, for at least 3 years, and it's finally starting to be available. So I wanted to get one, and I wanted to tell you what I think about it, and if it's a great technology or not, who this is for, what are the pros, the cons, and so forth. So how does this work? You got 6 different ink colors. You have black, white, green, red, yellow, and blue. And when electricity gets sent to those, it decides which ones are going to go up and which ones are going to stay down and which ones are going to be basically visible. It uses a Spectra 6 e-ink panel. Now, I did notice that some colors are not so vivid and you will basically almost not see them. Those 2 colors are cyan and magenta. So if you're going to print anything that's in the magenta tones or that's going to tend to the light blue, you're probably not going to see it, or very, very little, on this display. Now I want to show you how you transfer images from your phone to the frame. The way it works is that it uses NFC technology, near field communication. That is a way to connect to something by tapping it. You use this pretty often with, for example, your tap to pay with your credit card or your Apple Pay or whatever you use to pay. And this is a great technology because it makes things easy. You don't have to do a whole Bluetooth connection every time. The connection happens when you tap your phone on the bottom of the frame and you're good to go. Okay, so we are in the reflection frame app here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the library. And once you're in the library, you're going to choose one of the art that is proposed by the library, by the app itself. So you can go to all photos, you can choose Western fine art, you can go to AI, photographs, Eastern fine art. So let's see what they propose in Eastern fine art. All right, so there's some interesting things here. So we're going to choose one. Let's say that we're going to choose this one. What you're going to see happen here is that it says ready to scan, ready tap to print. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go near the corner of the frame like so, tap. And once you do that, it's going to say ready. So now you can see that it's transferring the image. So the way it works is basically like a printer. It's going to send the job to the printer, in this case, the frame. Let's call it the printer. And it's going to send all the information in a temporary memory that the frame has. And once it sends the information to the frame, then the frame can start printing the job, exactly like a printer. It's going to take about 15 seconds to send it to the frame. There you go. Now it's sent. And look now what's going to happen. I'm going to put it like this so you can actually see. Here we go. So it's going to change the image slowly. Actually, this was a landscape photograph, so I'm going to flip it around. Here we go. And you can see it takes about 15 seconds to send the job and 15 seconds to print it because it has to have the time to print the photo. There you go. You got it printed. This is how it looks. The size of the image is 13.3 inch, which is equivalent to 20 centimeters by 26.5 centimeters. There are interchangeable mattes or passe-partout. You got 2. You got one that is paper-like and it's white, and you got another one that is gray. You got a gray shade. The way you change this is actually very simple. It's magnetic. What I do is I press on the outside of it and I lift it from there. When you take it out, you will see all the little circuits and the NFC chip at the bottom, by the way. And to change, very simple, you take your new passe-partout or the mat, you put it on top, and again, this is magnetic, and it will just stick to it. Here we go. So depending on the art that you're going to be using, you can have a gray matte or a white one, and it will make your image pop or just look different. Now, how is the quality of the image printed? If you look at it from close up, you're going to see the little dots, little pixels, if you want to call them that way. This is what makes the image. The image will never look like a printed photograph. Also because you have to realize that you only got 6 colors to print with. Wherein when you print a photograph, you have the whole spectrum and you can really just choose every single color that you had to print. So it makes it easier because you can mix things. In this case, it's a little bit more complicated, but it does look good. There are some images that look a little bit faded, a little bit dark, especially black and white. Black and white tends to look darker than what you're going to be printing. So what you need to do is you need to choose photos or images that are nice and bright, and that's going to look the best on your e-ink display. In terms of battery, it's got a 5000 milliamp hour battery. This is a pretty beefy battery for such a device that uses very little electricity. You're going to be able to use it for a couple years if you change your photos only 3 times per day, every single day. That's what they claim on the website. I will tell you in a couple years if that's the case, but for now, I haven't been charging it yet. Obviously, if you keep a photo, say for at least a week or 2, which I think makes sense, you could go for years without charging the battery. If you do have to charge the battery though, you can do it from the back. There's a little USB-C port right here, and that will allow you to charge it. It weighs 1.2 kilos, so it's not too heavy. There are 2 mounting points horizontally and 1 mounting point vertically. As I showed you, there is a library with different arts that you can use for free. It's included with the app. And in terms of price, we are at $350 and 322 euros. Not the cheapest, not the most expensive. This is a fairly relatively new technology. I think it's cool. It's an interesting, okay investment. Maybe you could buy 1, 2, maybe 3, have them in your living room, and you're able to just, tap to change. It is great when and if you're someone that likes to change your artwork and that likes to do that, because imagine having to print photographs every single time. It will end up being pretty expensive, especially when you print high quality or good photographs. I think it's great to have at least 1 or 2 of these in your house, in your studio. Like in my studio, I'm going to be putting it in the client area over there where I have my guests coming. That way, if I have, for example, a wedding coming up and I see the clients, I can just tap and show my latest, one of my latest weddings. So I can just, change and refresh a little bit my art on the walls. And I'm going to show you a bunch of black and white photographs. The reason for that is I haven't seen much black and white photography shown on these e-ink displays online on YouTube, and I think it's something important because you might be wondering, how does it look with black and white shades? Is it going to look good or not? And as you can see here, some photos look good, some photos look a little too dark. That is a little bit of a drawback to me because I feel like it would be better if it was a little bit brighter. Now, obviously, I'm asking a lot from this little display because, again, this only has 6 colors and it has to juggle around with, dots of ink. So it is not a traditional LCD or OLED display by all means. And we need to remember that it has limitations, but it also does look very, very good for what it is. I hope I answered all and every question you had about this little e-ink display. If you have any other question, obviously, and like always, write it down in the comment section below. I will answer as soon as possible. And I'm curious to know if you're gonna get one for yourself or not. Let me know. Cheers.